My name's Lou Falank, and one of the topics I'd like to discuss with everyone is becoming a role model for your children's nature literacy. And a lot of people now say, free play, let the kids go out, have fun. It's all about play. And free time is good, free play is good. It lets kids test new things and play and be creative. But during that free time, what are you doing as a parent? What are you role modeling? Are you working on a project in the woods? Are you collecting acorns? Are you building a fire? What are the skills that you're actually role modeling while being in the woods? Because that's a time that your children are watching you, whether you like it or not. When you least expect it, the kids pick up whatever you say and do. So being aware of what you do is very important. And some of those things people think of risk. Well, if I take my kids in the woods, they're going to get hurt if I don't take them to a playground. Well, here's where you got to manage the risk. First thing I tell parents is go take a first aid class, preferably a wilderness first aid class or a stop the bleed class. This way, you'll know how to take care of your kid if they do get hurt. Now, that being said, that's where risk management comes into play. You'll learn mechanisms of injury. What are the things that are really going to hurt my kid, and what is just a perception of risk? And you'll be able to figure that out on your own as you go through. But the first step is first aid class, wilderness first aid preferable, and a stop the bleed class. Everything after that is basically taking care of little boo-boos and runny noses. So now to get to the meat and potatoes. As a role model, what are the skills that you want your kid to know and understand? Is it tree ID, tracking? And that being said, are you comfortable and confident in your skill sets? And that doesn't mean you know everything. That just means that with the material you're sharing with them, you can do it from a place of peace and comfort and just be like, yep, I know this, and this is what I want to work on and learn more of. And that can be from tree ID to tracking to fire building, shelter building, water collection, firewood collection. And it seems like a lot, but it's what do you do in your regular life that connects to nature? And how do you read the landscape? And the key is nature literacy. And that's learning the trees, learning the animals, the plants, and everything around you to help take care of both your short and long-term needs as a person. And it starts off really young for me with my son, because I was always had him in the backpack, and we'd go snowshoeing and put him in the sled, and we'd go play and cross-country ski. But it wasn't just that. We created our own little fun things. Every time it snowed, we'd make it a habit of getting in the sled. We'd take our little metal pot and a little thing of water and some matches, and we'd go out, and I'd pull him in the sled because he wasn't able to quite walk yet on snowshoes, and he'd help me build a fire. And then he learned how to strike a match. And I think he was about 2 years old when that happened. So those were skills that he was able to work on in a safer environment. We were surrounded by snow, we had water, and we had a purpose. It wasn't just playing with fire. Fire's dangerous. Oh no, if I show him how to use a match, he's going to burn the house down. No. I'm setting parameters. This is fire. This is what it does. And by letting him practice lighting matches with me there, takes the curiosity out of it. So he's able to not only do something that most people go, oh no, that's scary, but he actually learns what it feels like to burn his fingers when he holds on to the match a little too long. And a quick dunk in some clean water, and now he's more careful. And he understands what hot really is and how dangerous matches can be. And then he actually gets to see the interaction with the fire as it burns different types of wood. He learns to collect softwood from the needly trees because it has the little dead dry branches that are off the ground, as well as protected from the rain from the top by those nice dense green needles. So he learned that through experience. And it wasn't just he saw it, he did it once. It was repetitive. Every snow day, every time it snowed, even sometimes when it didn't snow and we just wanted to go out in the woods, we'd learn the tea trees. And he learned balsam fir and white pine. It took a while, but I kept it simple. I didn't do anything more than just those two trees when we went out. So that became our thing. And now at 5 years old, he knows white pine, he knows balsam fir. He gets hemlock once in a while. He's working on beech and those wonderful oaks and acorns from collecting acorns and making acorn pancakes. So everything we did started to be with a purpose. It was either to keep us comfortably cool and dry, keep us hydrated, keep us fed, or to help us cook food. So that's something that you want to make sure you can do with your kids. And if you don't have those skill sets, ask a friend. Find a place to learn. That's what the goal of me sharing skills is to have parents role modeling the skills, not just hiring subject matter experts that are going to entertain you for a weekend or a week or one day. It's about integrating skills into your life. What are those things that you can do without being the expert? Oh wait, you are an expert. You're living, breathing, and taking care of yourself in the current paradigm. So I want you to think about where your shelter, water, fire, and food come from. Does your heat come from a furnace? How do you get that heat? Where's your calorie expenditure? That's at work. And what do you earn? Dollars, which is another form of calories that goes into your oil tank to keep you warm with your furnace. So all that's well and good. But a lot of people get stuck in that rut and routine and don't realize that with basic skills and shelter building skills, you can go out, build a shelter that doesn't require a fire, or you can build a shelter that needs a fire. Then you have the skill set to collect the material to build a fire and ignite the fire using both modern or primitive technology, which to me, modern and primitive, I've lost the labels and just say they're tools and structures that we use to take care of ourselves. And part of that is taking the time to be a step ahead of your kids. What do you really want them to learn? I want my son to be comfortable and confident in the woods and know the risks. What are the true hazards? What's poison ivy look like? What's poison oak look like? What's sharp sticks? What about water? You need to be able to pay attention to those things. So that's what I really want to share with them. And it's just getting them out there, letting them light the match, collecting the firewood, and just doing it as often as possible with a purpose. When's the last time you cooked a meal on the fire? Not even a full meal, just a snack. Have you made biscuits on a stick, pancakes on a stick? Have you made tea, whether it's with a tea bag, or did you collect balsam fir needles, hemlock needles, or white pine needles to make your wonderful woodsy tea? Have you made acorn pancakes? Those are the little things that I love doing that give my son that connection. It's not just about having fun in the woods and playing. It's having fun with a purpose. We can have fun doing the things to take care of ourselves. My son got his first knife when he was 3 years old, and he was able to make wood shavings. And then he used his match lighting skills and built a fire with shavings that he made. So now he's learning to build a fire because he knows that in order to keep us warm, we have to have a fire in our wood stove. So my son spent a good 3 years of his life lighting the fire for our wood stoves in the wintertime. Burned a lot of matches, wasted a lot of matches, but it's not waste when there's learning involved. And it may take him 10, 20, 30 matches, but he did it and he learned his lessons and developed the motor skills to do it as well. So being in nature isn't just about playing, it's developing fine motor skills, gross motor skills, as well as making connections with things you already know. Oh, that's a pine tree. I can make tea with that. Oh, Dad, I got a boo-boo. Hey, you know that pine tree? Let's go over and we can take care of your scratch with some of that pine pitch, maybe peel off a little piece of that fresh young bark and make a band-aid because, oops, I accidentally left my first aid kit in the car. We all make those mistakes, but it's a time to learn. And if the more you know, the less you do have to carry. So we take care of a boo-boo with some inner bark of pine as a band-aid and using pine pitch. And it's those little things that we can do over time to help get them out in nature. And the next part of that is surrounding yourself with a supportive community. Who can you get together with to make ash pack baskets? Did you ever think of taking your kid with you in their backpack to harvest ash logs with friends so that you can sit there and pound them out and create splints to weave a basket? I think it's a lot of fun, and I did that. And my son was younger than 2 during the process. So surround yourself with people that will help enhance your kids' nature literacy. It leads to better communication skills, better functioning skills, and they learn to take care of themselves. If they get cold, they know to put on their own jacket. If they get hot, they know to take it off. Those are the skills that not many people think about of, oh no, I'm going to force my kid to wear clothing. Well, I don't. Oh, you want to take your jacket off? Okay, but we're going for the walk. And 10 minutes later, I'm freezing. Well, yeah, you are freezing. I told you to wear a jacket. You didn't want to. You didn't even want to bring it with you, and now you're cold. And the consequences of your action is you're cold because you didn't make the choice to bring your jacket. Now, even though my son chooses not to wear a jacket, he puts it in his backpack and he brings it with him. And I was very fortunate at the time when he was young enough to partake in a forced kindergarten program where they were outside from 8 a.m. till 3 p.m. or 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. And they were outside, rain, snow, sleet, all day long. So that gave him an opportunity to learn new things and share skills he learned out in the woods with his friends when he got home with me. So it wasn't just about me teaching him, but I was role modeling because I was doing things with my son and involving him. And then when he went on his own adventures with his school and his friends, he was able to have that shared story with me and share those things. So the deal is we want to change the baseline. If we look at our current paradigm of learning, everything is in little boxes with check marks. And everyone knows that that's not how we really learn, but we keep trying to put things in little boxes with check marks. And to me, it's giving my kid the confidence and the comfort in knowing skills that he can take care of himself. He can keep warm. He can turn himself into a scarecrow with a pile of leaves. He can collect firewood, build the fire, ignite the fire with tools that he's capable of using at his age. He can help me use a knife in the kitchen and chop vegetables and fruit so he can feed himself. Those are truly the life skills that I enjoy sharing with my son. Yes, it's easy in our day-to-day lives when we're rushing and try to get meals done because either yourself, your spouse, or both of you are commuting and you only have an hour to make dinner, to get dinner on the table. But if you let your kid help you, it might take an hour and a half. Well, I've learned to take the hour and a half and let them help out where possible. Those are the things that we need to learn to do. Slow down and have a little less expectations of ourselves and give more time for the experience and not the product or the end product or goal that we're trying to achieve. The ultimate thing I've seen even in schoolwork is everything's about the final end goal when it used to be what was the process to get us to that goal or project? What were the steps that we learned that we can apply to other things? Oh, I learned to take my time. I learned to slow down and pay attention to detail. I'm not going to get the answers instantly. I read the instructions, but I screwed up 3 or 4 times, and I had to pull the thread out or I had to redo my crocheting. But hey, I did it, and I move on, and I've grown. So those are the things that I give space for my kid to do. He can light a fire, not make a fire. He can identify a tree wrong. That's okay. Why'd you get it wrong, buddy? What part of that was right? Oh, it was a coniferous tree. Great. So those are the things I'd like to share. And one of the other things is knife skills with children. They can't use a knife? Yes, they can. If you can, again, take the first aid class, learn how to fix boo-boos, and you can show them some simple things like keeping everything behind the blade that you don't want cut, how to take the knife out safely, how to carve away from themselves, and keep it age appropriate that way, and keep a sharp knife, and have the right wood that's soft enough for them to cut properly, and let them have fun doing it. You need to have the confidence in yourself that you can take care of your child while they're with you. You need to become your own expert. Invest in yourself and learn life skills that you want to share with your children. Watch their eyes light up when you take them for a sunrise at the beach, or you go up to the top of the hill and watch a sunset. Do those things. It's the time we spend together that makes the most difference. Learning to be together in the outdoors, the foundational skills of life, and knowing that we don't really need a lot in order to survive. And that's the easy part. The difficult part is learning to operate in the modern world of the calendars, the timetables, the meetings, the commuting, and learning to slow down within that and just know that all we need is shelter, water, fire, and food. And the living and the wealth comes from putting the time in and learning the seasonal calendars of wild foods that you can collect and harvest with your children. And then you can process them, make jams and jellies and maple syrup from the maple trees in the spring that starts that whole adventure. And then you have those things to reflect on and have shared story over an entire year of breakfasts. Oh, remember when we made this maple syrup? Yeah, we hiked in the woods and we tapped the trees and we dragged the sap out on sleds. All those stories just get reinforced from that one experience through an entire year when you get to do it again. So to me, those are the things that we need to do as parents. Be the role model, especially in the formative years until they turn to stinky teenagers and they're ready to leave the nest and head out on their little journey on their own. But knowing that we gave them a solid foundation of skill sets that they can take care of themselves. They'll know how to keep warm. They'll know how to stay dry. They'll know to collect water, disinfect it, build a fire, and collect food.